Hey, what's up, everyone? In this video, we are continuing on with our series of modernizing the MyListing demos with a current focus on the car demo. So, as we've done throughout the series, I'm going to recap what all work was done since I recorded the last video, and then we're going to do some things live here, just continuing that same process as we go through. This one's going to be a fun one. They're all fun. This one in particular was a bit of a challenge, but a fun challenge. And what's really fun, I think, is although I recommend building a MyListing website or any Elementor website with using Elementor Pro, it's a fun challenge to see what you can do with free tools and see how far you can get. But again, I'm a huge advocate for if you can go the Elementor Pro route, go that route. Go the MyListing Club starter site route, the full ones that have everything fully configured and ready to go. But if you're on a tighter budget or you just want to yourself see how far you can go with free tools, that's kind of what we're doing here. Kind of like more of like a beginner intermediate level. Can't talk, sorry. Okay, so we're going to recap and then we're going to look at the shop page specifically. Okay. I also want to point out that there are products that are starting to populate that have populated in the MyListing Club store. So if we go to resources and CSS packages, just do a search for the word car. You're going to see a couple things in here. We've got the blog page CSS package, which you'll see here in a bit. The color scheme CSS package, which is free because that's basically everything hinges off of that. And then the global CSS package. And then also, if you go to templates and do the same thing, do a search for car, you'll see a couple here. So footer and homepage in here. Okay, so the blog page, so you may be saying, well, Ryan, where's the blog page template? Well, we don't have one because we did everything we did with CSS. Okay, so here's the blog page, which I didn't want to show you yet. That's a surprise. Anyway, you might say, well, Ryan, where's the blog page? It's just all CSS. So I kind of let the little secret out of the bag there. So if we're doing pages that only require CSS, which the shop page today we're going to look at is just CSS, then there won't be an Elementor template associated. Okay, so let's recap. And I'm going to close this down. And yeah, let's recap. So performance. So what I did was, as I like to do on all my sites these days, is I use system fonts. You guys, you guys can do whatever you want with your fonts, obviously. If you buy, when this thing is ready to go and as a light starter site, if you will, if that's what I end up calling it, you can get in here and change the fonts, whatever the heck you want. I just like to start people off with system fonts because then you don't have to worry about the privacy, performance, all of that stuff, how you're performance optimizing the fonts, how you're loading them, all those types of things go away because you're just using system fonts, which are the most performant way of doing fonts. And they look great too. I do them on all my sites. So WP Codebox, global, and that is just the simple line of code right there. Okay. Looking at the demo, everything looks great. It looks pretty much identical to the way it looked before when we used the Montserrat font. So this is going to be the most performant way that you can, again, load your fonts. So that was done, and that is available, and available from the club is in this global CSS package. All right, next up is on the Elementor side of things. So that's the CSS. I call that the CSS side of things. Now, from the Elementor side of things, you need to tell your fonts the same thing. So if we go to site settings, global fonts, previously in our global fonts, we had the family was set to Montserrat. So to get those system fonts to kick in, we need to set all of our fonts in here to default. Okay, see how all of these are default. Now, if you go to the front end, and let's use a tool here to inspect these fonts. So we see here, System UI is showing here. It's hard to see. If you just go down a little bit there from my my highlighter, my circle highlighter, you'll see System-UI, 90.08 pixels. That means System UI is kicking in. Let's go down to the next one. System UI is kicking in. Let's go over to this MyListing type of stuff. System UI. Okay. 100% across the board, we've got System UI. So loading super fast in terms of fonts. Okay, next up is the blog page. So I kind of let that secret out of the bag here, but this is what I've been designing, all with free tools. So really, really cool stuff. Let's go look at the MyListing demo that we are modernizing and go to the blog page. Okay, this is what you get out of the box, and this is what we have now. So it is night and day different, again, with all with free tools. So let's break down how this page was built. Recapping first, let's go back. If let's see if I have to see if I mentioned this in the last video or not. No, I did in the last video. So just a quick reminder: if you go to reading here in the WordPress settings, you need to uncheck here. So by default, MyListing will set the post page to blog, and then you can't do anything really. So you need to unlock that by setting it just like I have here. So no post page defined. All right, so then that gets us over here into our page, and now we can edit this thing with Elementor completely, freely as we need to. Okay, at the top here, we see a search form. Looking at the MyListing demo, we see we have no ability to search anything. So what I've done is using the free Ajax Search Light plugin, I've gone in and set up this form, and I've styled it since our last video. So let's go ahead and check this out. So let's search for a keyword. Like, see, the keyword awesome is in this post only. So let's search for that. There we go. Some styling was done. All of this is styled custom just with CSS, partially through the plugin, which I'll show you, and partially through CSS. So let's do something that's going to pull up all of these. So let's go back. Sorry, I did not mean to hit enter there. There we go. So that's the Ajax search. It's showing us the results right on the page without having to navigate away from the page. Okay, all of this, again, custom designed to match our branding of this website. Okay, so let's break down how that search is done. So we go over into the Ajax Search Light plugin. And what I've done is, let me move this out of the way because I'm going to show you that here in a bit. Let me save my settings here. Okay, so what I did is I went into, where did I go into? Where's the design? Brain farting on the design. Here, hold on. Let me go to my notes. Layout options. There we go. So, and here's where I changed the theme to curvy black. So from simple red to curvy black. I also changed the placeholder text to say enter keywords from whatever it said before. And then I believe that's all I changed in here. So then with CSS, let's go over to WP code box. Let's go to our blog page code. And in here, I said on hover, let's put a little color on hover for those items. So that's what gives us this little gray color on hover. And then I also adjusted these links. So it says post 3, 2, and 1. I changed those because they were like defaulting to blue. So that's all that was done there with the CSS. Okay, next up is we have the post grid. So looking back at MyListing's original demo, we see there's no real border radius. The taxonomy is just kind of thrown in there in the bottom left. There's no separation in the card. It's just everything's kind of running together. The font size of the title of the post is the same as the actual excerpt of the post, the wording. So everything just kind of runs together, and it just doesn't look all that great. Also, we just have this post title the page title that looks like this. It's just pretty uninspiring, right? So now, because we can fully edit this thing with Elementor, we can do whatever we want. So I came in here with the cards, and you can't style any of this with Elementor because it's not an option. The MyListing post widget does not give you the option to do that. So I came over here in Adobe Code Box and style these up. I put a border radius around the container, so around the whole card here. I changed the font size to a responsive font size, bigger, but also responsive on the different devices for these. I then took This was a fun part right here. So this is an actual like a footer area that you can't really tell it's a footer because it all kind of runs together. So I styled the background of the taxonomy, which is right here. Okay, so I put a black background on there. I centered the taxonomy, which is category 3, 2, and 1, for example. When I hover over the taxonomy label, name, whatever you want to call it, you'll see it kind of slightly changes color. So there's a little bit of hover, accessibility, things of that nature. Okay, and then last up is we see here there's where's that newsletter coming from? It's nowhere on this page. But where is this coming from? So really, really cool. This was a fun challenge to do. I came over here and on all the sites that I work with MyListing, or any site that I use WooCommerce with, I use MailPoet. And I've said in previous videos that you can get by with using the free version for quite some time. It's going to do your transactional email, your password resets, your order information to your customers, all of that stuff. It does that, but also it does the newsletter piece. But because of we don't have Elementor Pro or any other forms that easily hooks into MailPoet, I thought, well, let's just use the native forms of MailPoet. So I came over here into forms, and you can go. Let's go ahead and go to new form so you can kind of see how this works. But you have all these options, all these different things that you can choose from for absolutely for free. So I picked one that I liked, and I did under slide in. I ended up going with. Oh, you know what? I think I started with this. I started with this fixed one and kind of worked my way around, but I ended up making it a slide in. So let's go back to the forms, and that's this one right here. And you just go in and you style this up however you want. It uses the WordPress block editor, but you have all these options for styling, selecting which list they get subscribed to, confirmation message or a redirect. So again, you've got all the styles that you can set in here. Message color, success or failure. You can even do the close button design and all of that type of thing. Form placement. You can mess with all of that. Under tags, I didn't do anything there, so that's fine. Nothing to show you there. Okay, so let's look at how this thing works then. And each of these, if you're not familiar with the WordPress block editor, you go into each of these and you design these to do, say, look however it is that you want them to go. Okay, so one of the really cool features of this, I'm actually should be looking at my notes. I'm just trying to do this by memory. So the styling we did to match the site. I wanted to show the form settings, and when someone subscribes, the form stops showing. Okay, so let me show you that real quick. So back into the form. Got to remember how to get to the settings. I keep forgetting how to get back. So this is more of the styling. How did I do the setting? Let's go back. Okay. Gosh, I'm always brain farting on that's the placement, that's the style, but where do you get to the actual? It's not the block. I struggled with this, and I'm struggling with it again, trying to get back to where it was. Oh, where's the form settings? Oh, you know what? I know where it is. I think it's in here. There we go. So you got to click on. Let's go back. Sorry about all that. It's kind of not very intuitive how you get to it. So let's go edit. Form placement. That's where you got to go. So form placement. Click on wherever it is that you're going to display it. Now this is where it gets really cool. The power of this, all for free, right? So we've enabled the form. We've said the position should be in the bottom of the page. I didn't mess with any of the form width or anything like that. But then you can just choose where to display this. You can do all pages, select pages like here I've done on just the blog. You can do it on product pages, post with specific categories, post with specific tags. I mean, and on and on and on. There's all these really cool granular options. Show animation on display. You have lots of options. I'm just doing slide up on animation. Display with a delay. I'm doing a 2-second delay. So after 2 seconds, it's going to slide up the page. And then here's a really, really cool thing. Show form and I have it set to always display, but you can do like different intervals. But here's the thing. Even though you set it to always, Once somebody subscribes to your newsletter, this block disappears. It never comes back for that user as long as they're a subscriber. If you remove them from your MailPoet newsletter as a subscriber, this pop-up is automatically going to come back again. That's a really, really slick feature I found out after a bunch of testing. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Ryan@ryan.com, subscribe. Then you get the success message down here that you can fully customize however it is you want. I'm just going to roll with the defaults. So I've shown you the search. Obviously, clicking into the post is going to show you the post. Clicking into the category is going to take you to the category page, and those need to be looked at and designed. We're gonna think about how we're going to go about that in probably the next video. Okay, so that's it. That's the blog page. It's all CSS and it's all in this free Ajax Lite search plugin. That's it. Okay. So let's go ahead and roll over to this one was also a challenge, a fun challenge. So MyListing shop page, again, like if you can go Elementor Pro, it's going to open up a million doors for you that right now you're going to see just how limited we are with the MyListing demos with the shop page. Now the shop page, people are going to keep coming back to that. Even this page, even if you think they won't, even if you try to hide this page, they're going to probably land on this page. So you want to do something with it, or make sure that you are 100% make sure you're redirecting the shop page somewhere else. So you can do that. But let's say you want to keep this page for whatever reason. Let's tackle it. It's super basic on so many levels. So a couple of things here. If we do, let's go to my extensions, let's go to my headings map. Let's refresh this page. If you get really super anal about your SEO, you'll notice here there's no H1. The shop page does not have an H1. So if we go to, like, conversely, the home page, we see that we have an H1, right? Auto Finder. If we go to the blog page, we have an H1. It's called blog page, right? So it depends how strict you want to get with your SEO, but the shop page doesn't even have an H1. Okay. It's not even in the source code either. Okay. So if you do view source, you will not find it up here in the meta. It's not there. Okay. Again, so you may or may not care about ranking your shop page. A lot of times it's not even an issue, but I just wanted to point that out. And maybe that's why they hid the title. I have no idea. Okay, so what can we do with this page? If we go to theme options, let's see here, where are we at? Where's my theme option? There we go. Theme tools, theme options. And we go to shop. We see here that we have, so this is how it's going to be by default. You can set the number of product columns. So right now by default, it's 3. Or you can, and then you can come in here and you can add a sidebar, or choose your sidebar, so to speak. So you can set up a sidebar that's going to appear in various areas here. So, but it's a pain to build, but we're gonna look at it. Okay. So not a lot going on. Not a lot of options. Okay. So if you go here and you think, okay, I'm going to go edit this with Elementor. A lot of people will try to do this. So if I come over here and I go to my shop page and I try to edit this thing, and I come over here and I click edit with Elementor, you can't. Okay. It's just not set up that way. Now, if you had Elementor Pro, you could absolutely do it. Okay. So we have to work within the bounds of WordPress, unless you do some custom coding or find some other plugin, magic plugin that's going to do something. You just have to work with the WordPress block editor. Okay, so if we wanted to, we could come in here, we could do heading. We could call this shop or store or whatever you want to call it. Change the heading to an H1, save our changes, go back to the shop page, refresh. We now have that shop heading in there, if that's important to you. Looking at our headings map, we now have that in there. And then that's got our structure, our proper structure starting to build in there. Okay. It's just weird you have to do that, but it is what it is. Okay, so what if we wanted to do build out what my listing gives you here? So let's say we wanted to do a sidebar. Let's go ahead and set that to sidebar. Where the hell is the sidebar stuff? We have to go to appearance. Like, it'd be nice if they gave us like some help here, right? Like where to go. But anyway, we go to appearance and we go to widgets. Yeah, I mean, just give us a shortcut to here. It's not that hard. Here's our sidebar, and we have all this stuff which lends itself to a blog post. So if you've ever seen blog posts that have a sidebar, this is kind of like where it's focused at, right? So I'm just going to get rid of all of these because we're dealing with the shop page. We're not dealing with an individual product or anything like that. Now you could tailor this so that it kind of like applies to a lot of things at once if you wanted. All right, let's go ahead and roll with this one. We'll have the search in there. Let's go back to our search page, and we need to set. So we go to the page tab. We need to set this. We need to change it from a default template over to content plus sidebar or sidebar plus content. It depends on which side that you want the sidebar on. So I'm going to go content plus sidebar, save, and refresh. There we go. So now we have that sidebar. Okay, let's say we wanted to search for this product. Let's do a search for the word advanced. I have no idea what's actually going to happen here. So let's go advanced. It doesn't actually find the product. Okay, so let's go back. We don't know what this is searching. If we go back to the widgets, what are we searching for here? We're searching products, but nothing's coming up. So is that a MyListing issue? I'm guessing it is. Can we configure this somewhere? I don't think so. Okay, so let's do some other things that actually work. So we could come in here and let's do a search for product. Product category list, maybe. We could try that. WooCommerce brand layered nav. Let's try that. Let's just try a few widgets here. Let's see what actually works. Products list. Okay. Show all products. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Let's go with that. See if that even works. Okay, so we're starting to get some stuff in here. Okay, that works. So let's go back to our widget. And so we have so far, what do we have that works? We have our product showing, but it looks like the WooCommerce brand layer nav isn't working. I don't even know what that is, to be honest. So let's get rid of that. Let's add something else. Let's do products. Can we do categories? Product category list. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do product results count, maybe. Okay. This is kind of what they are doing here with MyListing is doing here with their template. They're just placing it up here at the top. They're also doing this sorting in here. Let's see if we have a sort option that we can use on the side. Catalog sorting, maybe. Let's try that. There we go. So that's pulling from that. So what MyListing is doing, the developers of MyListing are doing, is they've created this shop page for us and they've locked it down. They've locked it down. They're pulling some elements from the block from WordPress, but they're locking this page down, so we can't do a whole lot with it. So unless you're going to use some CSS to hide this, and then also hide this, and then bring it over to your sidebar, it's kind of like what we're dealing with. So the question then becomes: is the sidebar really that beneficial to us, or is this right here going to be enough for us? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this shop page. I'm going to set it back, and I'm going to have a think on this before the next video on what I want to do there. Okay. So I'm going to bring this back to the way it was. There we go. Now we need some sort of search that's meaningful, because we saw that the search doesn't actually work, and maybe that's why MyListing the MyListing devs never put it in here. So what we can do is we can leverage the same plugin that we used for the blog page to do search. Okay. We're just going to copy the shortcode again. We're going to edit our shop page. We're going to do /shortcode, paste in our shortcode for our search box, and save. Back to our shop page and refresh. Boom. There we go. Now does it work? So let's do a search for the word premium, which should be only in this product. Okay. That doesn't come up. So we need to go back over here and we need to go into where's it at here? General options. And we need to add the post types we want to be able to search through. Okay. So over here we have available post types. So I want to look for products. And wherever I put those. Let's see. I just dropped them in here when we started this video and I forgot where they're in here somewhere. We just got to find them. There we go. So we drag that over, save our options, save changes, refresh. Boom. So now let's do the search for the word premium. There we go. Beautiful, right? So if we just do a search for all of these, there we go. So if we do nothing and we just hit enter, let's do a refresh. Let's just go hit enter in here. Oops, that doesn't work. So let's just do like one letter, A. Okay, there we go. So this is what it's going to look like. Now, if we want to style this to look like our blog page search, let's bring that up. So remember how this looks here? So what if we want to do this? Okay, we go back over into WP Codebox. And then on this blog page, this is where our design was done for that, okay? One option that we could do is we could create a code, just a snippet just for Ajax search, and then we could target the various pages. That's one way that we could do that. So do we want to do it that way? Do we want to do it that way? I think we're not going to have a ton of code, so I think we can go ahead and do it this way. I'll adjust if we need to down the road. So let's go and yeah, actually, let's do it this other way because we're going to have to adjust. We're going to have to use CSS against the shop page anyway. So let's create a new snippet. Let's call it shop. Wow, I cannot type shop. Okay, change our code type to CSS. We're going to change where it runs to front and footer. We are going to add a condition. So click Open Conditions Builder, add a condition. If the current post is the shop, we're going to add this code and only on this page. Paste that same Ajax code we used in our blog page, save it, enable it. Okay, so now let's check it out. So before, and it should have kicked in. Let's go ahead and do a search. So that's not kicking in. Why is that not kicking in? Got to think about why that's not kicking in. Let me think. It's not caching. Like, what is it? It could be. I have to think about why this isn't kicking in. It should work because we are targeting the shop page. Okay. Got to think about this on the fly. What if it's, let's try to change the condition. Maybe there's something with that condition. Let's say page URL contains shop. Nope, that did not work either. Oh, wait, it's getting better. It's getting better. So yes, it is better. We are where we needed to be. So for some reason, it didn't like page. And that could be something funky with my listing. I don't know. Let's do current post is shop. Let's try this again. In the meantime, we need to get that styling the same. So we need to shorten our form. So I can come over here. I can go to my blog page. I can actually just right click on that widget, say copy, go back to my shop page. Oh, yeah, I can't because it's Because the blog page we could build with Elementor, but we're on the shop page, which we can't. So we have to think of a way to shorten this form. Interesting. So let me think about that. I'll probably have to do that within this Ajax plugin. I'll probably have to set that up in there. And then if I do that, if I'm able to do that, which I should be able to, then that means you wouldn't have to come in here and do this individually, like as I've done with this widget. I had to set a custom width. So let me think on that, how to go about that. But as far as the design, it's working for the search results and everything else, the theme. Okay, so yeah, it does not like, this is why we do this. So we learn together why this is doing this. So page URL contains, it might also be, you might also be able to do post type is, let's see, can you do an archive page? Taxonomy is, oh, it's not a big deal. Let's just go with back. Let's go page URL contains or is shop. You could do that way too. So save, refresh. And it's not the end of the world, I don't think, to have this look like this all the way across. I think it looks okay. But the main thing is, oh, see, those aren't working now. That's interesting. So it's very specific as what it's needed here to make this CSS kick in. Okay, let's go back. Page URL contains shop. There we go. All right, so very, very specific, but that is now working. And I'll tinker around some more with the design of that. And then while we're off camera, I will spend some time, as I've done with the other page and stuff. We're going to style this page up with some CSS because we have no other options really. We could probably we might be able to use blocks. So WordPress blocks. So we could come in here and maybe look at doing something with this. So we could do products and see if that works. See if we can do this real quick. What if we what products do you want to show? I wonder if I have to specify these hand-picked products. Let's go here and let's start again. How do I choose products? Anyway, sometimes it's easier just to start over with the block. Oh, it's a pain in the butt. Oh my gosh, it added like 3 instead of, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Okay, let me try one more time. Products, product, collection, categories is probably what we'd want to do there. I have to think about this. Let's try product again. Let's do product categories list. You have to be able to do products by category, right? Create your own. What does that do? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and save that. Boom. Okay, so then we have a decision to make. You see right off the bat, we have a lot more options. And actually, the styling looks pretty good already. All right, let me have a think on this outside of this video, and I'll figure out which route we want to go I'll figure out the route we want to go. Okay, let me check my notes and see what else we have. Block editor, how to search, stacks up, Ajax search. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish the shop page, and then that'll be the next video is what I've done with that. I'll produce the CSS and make that available in the club. And then we will look next at either a single blog post. So go into blog, look at styling these up in our options, And then we'll probably next video after that, we'll move into the single products and styling those up. And yeah. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video and catch you in the next one.